Welcome to Arkansas Wildlife. Just a few more weeks until school's out for the summer, and there's no better time to take the kids to an Arkansas Game and Fish Commission Nature Center. But the Game and Fish Commission's Education Division does much more than operate nature centers. We'll show you now what they're doing to prepare today's youth to be tomorrow's stewards of the natural world. Bluegills and red ears are starting to bed on Arkansas waterways, and this week we're going to show you a unique way to use some bass fishing techniques to find brim beds and load the boat. We've got a mess of brim now, but we don't want to fry it. We prefer something a little healthier. What are you going to do? We're going to show you now with this quick and easy recipe for brim ceviche. All that in this week's winner of an Arkansas hunting and fishing license right after this break. Arkansas Wildlife is brought to you in part by Academy Sports and Outdoors. For all, for less. Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, we're all about conservation. You probably knew we did this. And this.
6.6.
And even this.
10-4, I'll be 10-19.
But now more than ever, we're also using education to reach citizens of all ages. The Game and Fish Commission offers all sorts of programs to connect Arkansans with the natural state and foster conservation of our fish and wildlife resources for generations to come. You might even call it education on the wild side.
I've been coaching since the very beginning of this program in 2 different cities, and I've really seen how much of a difference the Arkansas Youth Shooting Sports Program has made in our kids' lives on and off the trap field.
I'm Hunter Throckmorton from Ballnov, and my team made it to the state finals of the 2016 state championship. But I'm just one of more than 50,000 students who have taken part in sanctioned trap shooting events through the program. In fact, it's the largest state shooting sports program in the whole country.
The Arkansas National Archery in the Schools program reaches even more students.
More than 1,000 Arkansas students from 4th through 12th grade shoot in a state championship in Hot Springs each year. But that's just a drop in the bucket compared to nearly 60,000 students from hundreds of schools who take part through PE classes.
I had a student write me a card and just said, Mr. Couch, thank you for starting this at Akron. I was one that didn't have a lot of friends, wasn't involved in stuff, and these have become my friends. I'm involved in this, I'm loving it. It is making a difference in my life, and I get a lot of stories like that from kids that, you know, hey, we finally found something, a niche for us to fit in, and this is what we want to do.
We've been teaching hunter and boating education for a long time, and it's still one of our agency's most important ways to reach young Arkansans.
More than 16,000 Arkansans earn the Hunter's Education Card every year. These classes are not only making our great outdoors safer, but they are also turning out a new generation of ethical, responsible hunters, just like me.
The Game and Fish Commission is also making the state's waterways safer with its boating education program, which produces nearly 7,000 graduates a year.
The Game and Fish Commission's flagship firing range near Mayflower is currently undergoing major renovations that will allow it to serve even more Arkansans. We have several other ranges around the state, and we're working with cities right now to provide additional shooting opportunities for the public.
There we go, here's a better one.
The Game and Fish Commission issued more than 500,000 fishing licenses last year. We'd like to see fishing poles in the hands of even more Arkansans.
Our mobile aquariums were on the road 155 days last year. we saw over 600,000 Arkansans. They got a chance to be face-to-face with these fish. You never know when one of these encounters will hook the next lifelong angler.
This spring, we'll be introducing the Fishing in the Natural State program, or FINS for short. This program will bring fishing into the classroom and encourage fishing as a healthy lifestyle that can last for a lifetime. Don't tell the students, but FINS programs also align with state curriculums in subjects such as math, science, and even language.
The Game and Fish Commission still reaches students the old-fashioned way, in the classroom. We offer many professional development opportunities for teachers, and with their help, we're teaching today's students to be tomorrow's partners in conservation.
One of my favorite aspects about the Arkansas Game and Fish programs is that it brings what my students are learning about into the classroom. So you're bringing the outside in.
My students love working with the Junior Duck Stamp Competition, and not only do they get to express their artistic creativity and increase their talent, but they get to learn about Arkansas waterfowl and their habitats.
Those are ducks.
Arkansas Game and Fish has 8 regional education coordinators around our state, and sometimes they get to come to my classroom, and that makes me so excited and the students so excited. Even though they're only in my room for 45 minutes, the impact that they make is for a lifetime.
We love going to the schools, but sometimes the schools prefer coming to us. Game and Fish operates nature centers in Fort Smith, Jonesboro, Pine Bluff, and Little Rock, and education centers in Yellville, Ponca, Columbus, and Casco.
Together, the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission Nature and Education Centers hosted nearly 250,000 visitors last year alone. We presented more than 2,600 public programs, 2,000 school programs, and 45 teacher workshops. Unfortunately, we don't have a count for the number of memories that have been made.
It isn't spelled out in our mission statement, but the Game and Fish Commission is all about the business of making memories. Whether it's a youngster's first fish or a pair of mallards over the decoys, nature's mystery surrounds us and calls us to connect. These education programs are helping Arkansans answer that call every day. It doesn't get any more basic than brim fishing. Whether you're fishing for bluegills, red ears, or one of Arkansas's other abundant sunfish species, you don't need much more than a cane pole and a cricket.
Oh, he's a hammer.
They're feisty and eager to feed and can be found almost anywhere.
Look at that one, that's what I'm talking about.
But brim fishing doesn't have to be low-tech. For tournament bass fisherman Quincy Houchin, it's unquestionably high-tech. Here on Lake Maumelle, Houchin combines his childhood passion for brim fishing with some of tournament bass fishing's most advanced technology, using side imaging sonar to pinpoint brim spawning beds and increase success.
Yeah, I used to come with my dad out here all the time, and he always wanted to brim and crappie fish. Of course, I wanted to bass fish then. Well, back then, we caught them the old-fashioned way. We trolled with beetle spins until we found them, and then threw crickets on them, the beds, and caught them that way. So pretty much I've been coming out here since I was a kid, and I still love it, probably more than bass fishing. And I love the bass fishing. Of course, as technology got better, these grass have kind of made it basically cheating, I guess you could say.
There aren't any guarantees. The fish still have to bite.
And sometimes you catch them, sometimes you don't.
But advanced sonar equipment like this helps anglers eliminate dead water and concentrate on the best parts of the lake. Houchin navigates his boat to likely spots for brim beds, around points and in protected coves. He typically looks for them in 10 to 20 feet of water. On the side imaging sonar screen, they look like dark honeycomb patterns on the lake bottom.
Right there, that whole big area right there.
He marks the spot and then circles back to drop a marker buoy. It's important to make a precise cast at the buoy to reach the small sweet spot.
If you're not right on that spot, you're basically just throwing in dead water. Wishing well, I call it. You just flat won't get a bite outside of it.
But when the beds are holding fish and your casts find their mark,
you can load the boat quick when they're there. Every cast. Cast out, drop down, lift up, they're there. Catching, not fishing.
Fishing with Quincy Houchin and our old buddy Mark Hedrick, the numbers added up quickly.
Oh, that's a good one. Do a head shake.
He's over poaching our fish. Look.
Listen, man, about like Mark Hedrick.
Another carryover technique from bass fishing is the use of a drop shot rig, although a juicy cricket sweetens the hook more than a plastic bait. From high-tech electronics to low-tech live bait, it's hard to beat brim fishing for old-fashioned fun. And there's always room for these panfish at our dinner table. Okay, we've got the brim from Lake Maumelle, and we're gonna turn that into brim ceviche. Now, ceviche is a dish that originated in Latin America. There are many different versions of it, but essentially it's some type of fish or seafood that is cooked in lime juice. We're not gonna turn on a grill. We're not gonna turn on a stove. We're just gonna use the juice, that citrus juice, that acid in that is gonna basically cook the fish for us. We're gonna add some fresh vegetables, some jalapenos, some onions, some tomato, a very fresh and healthy, kind of cool, crisp way to enjoy fresh fish this time of year when it's hot outside. Also might allow you to use some of those vegetables that are ripening in your gardens right now. Okay, let's get started. And the first thing we're gonna do is take our fish and cut it into about a 1/2-inch dice. And one thing you can do to make this a little bit easier is put the fish into the freezer for about 20 to 30 minutes. You don't want to freeze it, but we just want to kind of firm it up where it makes it a little easier to cut, makes for a cleaner presentation when we serve the dish as well. We're going to take a jalapeno pepper and we're going to mince it very fine. We don't want the seeds or the veins in there, so we're going to clean those out, and we're just going to use the flesh of the pepper itself, very finely minced. We're going to throw that into a glass bowl with the fish. Then we're also going to use a garlic press here to press 1 clove of garlic into the mixture. And then we're going to take a couple of limes, whatever it takes, just enough lime juice. We're going to squeeze into the bowl there, just enough to cover all of that mixture. We're going to mix it up very well, and then we're going to just place it in the refrigerator for 4 to 6 hours or even overnight. Okay, our fish has been in the refrigerator for several hours. We're gonna take that out, drain the excess lime juice off. Now we're gonna take our fish, and to it we're gonna add our fresh vegetables. We don't wanna put the vegetables in while it's marinating in the refrigerator because they'll get soggy. We want them to be crisp and fresh. And what we're gonna use today, we're gonna use a little bit more of the jalapeno. So we're gonna mince up one of these peppers, and we're gonna take the seeds and veins out again. That's the part that gets hot, and we don't want that to stick in our teeth or anything, so we're just gonna add that in there now. We're also gonna use a Roma tomato. We're gonna take the seeds and the pulp out of that and just use the firm part of the tomato flesh. We're also gonna add a little bit of diced white onion here. And then we're gonna add a little roughly chopped cilantro, mix all of that together, squeeze a little bit of lime juice on it just to moisten the mixture, kind of blend all the ingredients, and then we're gonna put that in some sort of serving dish. You can also top it off with a little diced or sliced avocado, maybe a little bit of hot sauce, and there you have it, a light, crisp, and healthful way to enjoy the catch of the day. Arkansas Wildlife presents the Watch and Win Giveaway. During each episode of Arkansas Wildlife, we'll give away an Arkansas resident hunting and fishing license. At the end of this season, we'll be giving away $500 worth of fishing gear with everything you need for outdoor adventures on Arkansas lakes and streams. It's all provided by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Visit the Arkansas Wildlife webpage at arkansaswildlife.com and click on the Watch and Win icon to enter. This week's winner is Mark Dowell from Risen. Congratulations, and thanks for watching.